Hi, my name's Will Summers, and today I'm going to teach you how to set up a wireless lav system and record it into Pro Tools. Wireless lav systems can be great to record voices or sound that you might want to capture into a recording where a mic won't be used, or it wouldn't be good to use for like video or other things. The other thing we can use a wireless lav system for is for speaking events or corporate events. Say you have a speaker whose voice needs to be overheard of the crowd. A lot of times you would use a wireless lav system into a mixer, into some speakers, so that the voice is more overheard and pronounced than the rest of the audience, so that the point would be emphasized and the presentation would be done properly. So today I'm going to teach you how to do that. First off, we have a Sapphire digital interface. To begin with, you want to make sure that your digital interface is powered on. You're going to know that it's powered on when a green light comes on. The green light's on. So what we're going to do is we're going to move over to our MacBook Pro. Now on our MacBooks, we have Pro Tools already installed. So I'm going to create a blank session on Pro Tools. As you see, I have my iLock already plugged into the Pro Tools, or I won't be able to do it. So what I'm going to do while this is happening, before I set the parameters for my session, I'm going to plug my FireWire into the interface. The computer can't interact with the interface unless they're plugged up together. Now that I've got the FireWire plugged up from the interface to the computer, I can start my session. Pro Tools has a prompt screen which allows me to create a blank session. Within my blank session, I'm going to create a WAV file that's 24 bits, 44.1 kilohertz sample rate, and my I/O setting is going to be to the location rig. I'm going to hit OK. Pro Tools is going to ask me to name my file that I'm saving. Since we're using a Lav kit, I'm going to use Lav Recording. Once I hit save or return, Pro Tools is going to open up a blank session for me. What I'm going to have to do in my blank session is I'm going to have to create a new track. Before I do that new track, I have to check my I/Os so that I know that the proper I/O setting is being used. Because if it's not, Pro Tools and the interface are going to have a problem connecting to each other. So I am going to delete the in and the out and hit a default setting so that I know that Pro Tools and the interface are connected to each other. And of course, the playback engine wasn't set properly. So I've got to reset the playback engine to make sure that it plays back properly before I can even set my I/Os. Now that the playback engine has been set, I can go back in, clear my I/O settings, hit the default button, and it's going to give me a list so that I know that the in and the out of the interface is connecting in with Pro Tools. Once I get done with that, I'm going to go to track and create a new track. It's going to give me a prompt. I'm going to create one new track, one mono track, one audio track in samples, and I'm going to hit create. Pro Tools is going to give me an audio track, and it's going to give me an in and an out. I can't record anything until I hook up my wireless lav system. So I'm going to set up my wireless lav system. We're using the Audio-Technica 3000 series wireless lav system. Within the Lav system, there are quite a few pieces that you need to make the equipment work. First, there's going to be a receiver. The receiver needs to be powered. Within that receiver, there are two antennas so that the Lav can connect to the receiver and be read. So I'm going to connect my antennas first. I'm going to place my wireless receiver on top of my Sapphire, and I'm going to plug it in. Once I connect it to a power supply, I should be able to hit power and see that it's working. It's letting me know that it's working, and it's giving me a certain frequency. On the back of the wireless receiver, there is a part where I can plug in a female XLR. On the digital interface, there's going to be a part where I can plug in the male part of the XLR. In order for these two to connect and read each other, I have to plug in the male part of the XLR into the Focusrite, and I have to plug the female end of the XLR into the wireless receiver. Once I do that, both systems should be able to read each other. Now, I can't get signal until I have a microphone. Now, I'm going to be using the transmitter, the Audio-Technica 3000 transmitter. The transmitter is going to have a microphone placed into it that's going to connect to the wireless receiver. The receiver is going to go into the Focusrite. The Focusrite is going to take the signal back over to Pro Tools so that it can be recorded. In order to get the transmitter to work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to need to open the transmitter because it has a lock safe so that the batteries don't fall out. Once I get the transmitter open, I'm going to have to place batteries into the transmitter. There's a side for a positive and a side for a negative, so that way it works properly. So I'm going to plug the batteries into the transmitter so that the transmitter can be powered. I'm going to slide the button down on the transmitter, and I'm going to turn the power on. So in order for the transmitter to receive into the receiver, the numbers have to correlate. Checking that the numbers correlate, I can now plug in my microphone to see if I'm getting signal. I'm going to plug my wireless Lav into the transmitter. Once the wireless Lav is plugged into the transmitter, I can go back to Pro Tools to check to see if the level is set. What I can do is I can go to the I on the track of Pro Tools, which stands for input monitoring. When I hit this button, it's going to let me know if the signal is being routed properly. The signal is going to go from the microphone to the transmitter, to the receiver, to the digital interface, from the digital interface into Pro Tools. If everything's routed properly, the IOs are set properly, and everything is working, I should be able to see signal from my microphone in Pro Tools. Once I see that I'm getting level into Pro Tools, I might have to set the level. Condenser microphones are very sensitive, so they're more susceptible to noise. In order to get a proper recording, I don't want my signal to be too hot or to be picking up unwanted noise, so I might have to set the level. So in order to set the level, I would have to go back to the channel that I have the microphone plugged into, which correlates to channel 1 on my Focusrite interface. On my Focusrite interface, I would either raise or lower the signal, depending on how hot or how not hot it was coming in. I would give the microphone a little yell to get a level, or talk into it so that I could set the levels properly. Hello, 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 1, 2, 1, 2. Once I've got the proper level set on my lavalier into the Focusrite and on Pro Tools so that I'm not clipping, I would go back to the track and record enable the track. Once the track was record enabled, I could go to my transport, hit record, and play, and my track will begin recording what's being said into the microphone. Hello, this is Will Summers showing you how to set up a wireless lav system.